Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of the vlog. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Today I'm going to do sort of just a music news video. I'm going to run down a couple of the more recent news items because there's been some big stories over this last about a week or so. I'm going to talk about some classic rock history, although I'm going to start by talking about Mr. Tony Bennett, who's a man whose longevity in terms of his career has been incredible. And his career really predates rock and roll. He's really the last superstar who was around before the rock and roll era making music. And of course, it has been announced this week that Tony Bennett has officially retired from the world of performing. So sad. I did some research for this video, and it looks to me like he's been like a touring performer since at least 1949. So that's over 70 years touring around the world, sharing his music. Tony Bennett, of course, is 95 years old now, and it came out last year that he is suffering from Alzheimer's disease. Although he's been doing some amazing stuff as of late. He toured consistently until the COVID-19 pandemic shut everything down, of course, in 2020. And it was during the pandemic that his diagnosis was revealed, and it was revealed that he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's a few years ago. I think back in 2016 or 2017, he was diagnosed and continued to tour, continued to be able to perform just really wonderfully. He really never lost that ability. He was clearly right at home on stage. Yeah, of course, the pandemic shut everything down, but even after that news story came out, one of the things that story had mentioned was that even though he was starting to have more and more trouble remembering things and recognizing certain people, it was just, he still was able to run through his entire set. He was still running through his entire show along with his pianist at least every week. Just making sure he still had it down. And in the last few weeks, the pandemic restrictions eased up enough that he was actually able to go out and perform again. He, well, first of all, he put out an album with Lady Gaga a few weeks ago. And also, he performed a special appearance for MTV Unplugged. I don't believe that has aired yet, but also, who knew MTV Unplugged still exists? I didn't know that. But yeah, he filmed something for MTV Unplugged alongside Lady Gaga, and they then did a pair of concerts just like last week at Radio City Music Hall. The first one was in celebration of Tony Bennett's 95th birthday, and I've heard reports from people who went to one of these concerts that they just couldn't believe that Tony was suffering from Alzheimer's because he performed so wonderfully. He never missed a step and just delivered the same old show that he was known and loved for. And ultimately, the decision to retire is not due to the fact that he's not able to perform his shows anymore, but it is due to the fact that his doctors have advised him not to travel. So, he will not. And an incredible 72-plus year performing career is at its end, and that makes me sad. I mean, like I said, he was really the last superstar still performing, whose career predated that of the explosion of rock and roll in the 1950s, so it's the end of an era. And speaking of the end of an era, I already did make a video a week or two ago about the passing of Mr. Dusty Hill of ZZ Top. I had mentioned in that video that ZZ Top was unsure whether they were going to continue performing or not, but they have not only made that decision, they've already been back out on the road. They were just starting a brand new massive tour. They were in fact only 2 dates into this return to performing live when Dusty Hill announced he was going to have to step down from the tour. He did perform those first 2 shows and then stepped down to focus on a hip issue, and then unfortunately he passed away in his sleep, aged 72. And ZZ Top has made the difficult decision to continue performing, and they've been performing with a new bassist by the name of Elwood Francis. He is no stranger to the world of ZZ Top. He's been their guitar tech for a long time, and he seems to fit into that role very well. Now, he's no replacement for Dusty Hill. You can't really replace Dusty Hill, but they've been doing this really cool thing where they took the audio of Dusty singing the song Tush at one of those last 2 concerts that he performed, and they've had the band play along to that track in these current live shows, because they clearly didn't want to just get Billy to sing it or get Elwood to sing it. They wanted the real deal, so they play along to his track, and it's actually kind of a moving moment, and it's really cool. But yeah, Elwood has some big shoes to fill, but he's doing a great job, and they will continue their massive tour. Although, like I said, it is the end of an era, because the same lineup, those 3 guys in ZZ Top, were together for an incredible 50 years. Billy Gibbons and Frank Beard continue on the legacy of ZZ Top out on the road with Elwood Francis, so that'll be cool. I may see them. I think they're coming through town, so may go out to that show. I think they're playing with Cheap Trick, so that'd be a good show. And then finally, I wanted to mention the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are going out on the 2021 leg of the No Filter Tour, which has been ongoing since 2017. This 2021 leg was originally supposed to be the 2020 leg, which of course got postponed a year, but it's just been announced that original drummer Charlie Watts will not be performing on this tour. He will be, I believe, recovering from surgery. Charlie Watts is 80 years old, believe it or not. So many have been wondering whether he's ever going to perform with the Stones again. I hope he does. I really do. He's the backbone of that band, of course, and has been ever since they founded back in 1961, 62 or so. And it's going to be weird seeing someone else behind the drums. Specifically, they have Steve Jordan, who has been involved with Rolling Stones related projects quite a bit. He is, of course, the drummer for Keith Richards' group, The Expensive Winos. And he's also been in he's been in like the SNL band way back. He was also in the David Letterman's band. I believe he was part of the 80s band, not the 90s Most Dangerous band. And then he also toured with Stevie Wonder. He's been involved in the music industry for decades and decades. And I'm sure he'll do a good job filling in for Charlie Watts. But Charlie has such a distinctive style. It'll be really interesting to see what that band sounds like with a different guy behind the drums. But yeah, for the first time, the Rolling Stones are going to tour with just 2 original members. But granted, those 2 original members are Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, the legendary Glimmer Twins, so you can't really go wrong there. I do hope that Charlie Watts returns to performing someday and can get back to his place behind the kit. I would have loved to see the Rolling Stones on the 2021 tour. I was lucky enough to get the chance to see them in 2019 in Seattle. I would have seen them again in 2021, but unfortunately the Vancouver date was one of the few that was not able to be rescheduled for this upcoming leg. Not every date that has been scheduled for 2020 will in fact be taking place in 2021, but the majority of them will, and they will be with Steve Jordan behind the drums, so that is wild. And before I wrapped up this video, I also wanted to mention this thing that came out yesterday regarding one of my favorite bands, probably my favorite band, Kiss. Gene Simmons announced not only that David Lee Roth had been dropped from the 2021 tour dates. David Lee Roth had opened up for Kiss during the 2020 leg of dates that was cut short by the pandemic. But he had some pretty awful things to say about David Lee Roth. Stuff about how he's old and past his prime. And I think his exact words were, "You want to see young Elvis in Memphis singing the blues. You don't want to see fat Elvis curled up on the toilet. People should know when it's time to get off stage." I don't know. I don't want to open this can of worms, but and I'm a huge Kiss fan. I love them, and I was hoping to see them twice on their upcoming tour, but it didn't work for me to be able to cross the border into the States to be able to do it. I love Kiss, but doesn't Paul possibly use backing track? I don't know. Gene seems like the kind of guy who will just, if he feels like he's been wronged for some reason, he will just hit way below the belt and be just unnecessarily mean and rude, and that seems to be what has happened in this case. Anyway, sorry to have 4 stories that are all sort of a downer, but though that's what's happening in the world of rock as of right now. Thank you for watching this video. Check out the description for links to where you can find my music, where it's sold or streamed online. I'm a musician myself. And like this video if you liked what you saw. Subscribe to my channel if you've been enjoying my videos, and you can ring the notification bell too if you want to get notified whenever I upload a new video, which should be real soon. Thank you for watching. Hopefully next time I do a news video, it'll be positive. Thanks so much. Catch you again real soon.